All right, good afternoon, ladies. Thank you for joining me. You're here today as a part of an interview with San Diego Business and Nonprofit Crisis Support Network. Our network was established in March of 2020 as COVID hit, and many businesses and nonprofits across San Diego were suffering with their doors closing or just losing revenue from different projects being canceled, so forth and so on. And during that time, what we found is that instead of just having businesses and nonprofits kind of go internal and start working on their own successes, we found businesses like those that we're going to talk about today and others who have looked outward to see how they could assist with helping to sustain these businesses and nonprofits. So that's kind of why we're here today. I definitely am excited to hear about how you two have been working together, and hopefully we can provide some information to those listening on ways that they can be creative in their ability to continue to move ahead. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two guests. We have Denise Scatena. She's the founding partner of Scatena Daniels Communications. She co-founded the communications company in 2009 and has helped grow her business into an award-winning strategic communications agency based here in San Diego. She has over 20 years of strategic communications experience and is an award-winning communicator who has worked with forward-thinking brands, including healthcare, professional services, real estate, arts and culture, entertainment, and philanthropy. A Chapman University and San Diego State alum, go Aztecs, she is involved in several community associations, including San Diego Press Club, Mama's Kitchen, and National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Next, I'd like to introduce Simone Valanciute, President and CEO of San Diego Oasis. Simone joined San Diego Oasis as its chief executive in 2012 to facilitate a merger of two nonprofit organizations, resulting in an award-winning regional organization with almost 50,000 members. Wow. For more than a decade, Simona was a senior executive at the San Diego Foundation, where she worked with prominent community leaders and donors. She holds an undergraduate degree in linguistics and business, as well as an MBA. She was recently selected for the prestigious Harvard Business School's Global Nonprofit Leadership Program in Boston. Simona serves on the boards of San Diego Rotary Club, the fourth largest Rotary Club in the world, and San Diego Senior Alliance. Thank you for being here, Simona.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so let's kick it off. Denise, can you just tell me a little bit about Scatena Daniels?
Sure. So we are a communications agency located in Southern California. My business partner, Erica Daniels, and I started the firm in 2009 during a recession. We had each had $1,500 and a laptop. We filed the right paperwork and we started our business. At Scatena Daniels, we're a team of senior level PR specialists. We have experience in a variety of communications, but what we find is our best value to our clients is really a laser focus on pitching, securing, and managing media interviews. And often we work with clients that have limited budgets and abbreviated timeframes. So now in 2020, we find ourselves, in this environment. And I'm really proud of our team. We've secured and managed more than 250 interviews this year alone. Wow. So we've been kept a little busy. We've risen to become one of the region's top media and community outreach firms as we support our clients in elevating their profile of philanthropic focused organizations and their leadership. And since our inception of our company, we've worked with more than 75 emerging and legacy brands. So these can be smaller grassroots nonprofits all the way up to well-known brands in the community. And one of our current clients has been with us since our first year of business. So it's exciting to grow with them, and they have that confidence in us that we can continue to push their mission forward.
Thank you, Denise. And your partner is your co-founder?
Yes.
What's her name again?
Partners. Erica Daniels.
Erica Daniels, thank you. Yes, that makes up the name for the company. Thank you. I definitely want to swing back maybe at the end if we have time to hear a little bit about what you've been focused on with all of these interviews that have happened since COVID has kicked off. I'd love to even hear that, to share that with those listening today. So COVID has really taken a toll on most businesses in some way. I think we've all realized that. How has Scatena Daniels helped its clients maintain momentum during this time?
Right. When COVID-19 hit, our clients needed us more than ever. And so we upped the ante. We persevered under difficult circumstances. And since mid-March 2020, our client work has really centered on the most challenging issues facing our region. And what our role is amplifying the voices and frontline work in underserved communities or among underserved groups of people. And because we have established media relationships, some of which, they span 2 decades, we were able to keep our clients front and center and available for media interviews. We tapped into the news cycles and monitored the news landscape to see where our clients could be a natural fit. Because, you don't want to take advantage of a situation and be exploitive, but you want to be a resource for media who are looking for stories and what's going on in the community. So many of our clients went into overdrive themselves, and as they adjusted their work to meet emergency needs in the community, we were right there alongside of them. So some examples are, some topics that we covered was COVID emergency response to the pandemic, and that was with the United Way. Racial injustice and mass conflict with the National Conflict Resolution Center. Educational inequity and the digital divide with Cox Communications. One of the things that we were brought on to work on was this 2020 census, and we were digging in and making sure these hard to reach communities were being counted with the Count Me 2020 coalition. And then social isolation among older adults, and that's where our work lies with San Diego Oasis. And around the clock, our clients, we managed overlapping crises sometimes for 6 consecutive weeks during this initial stay-at-home order, while at the same time promoting multiple virtual events and fundraising campaigns, right? So we had to get the attention for those mission-driven activities, but they also needed that funds to go along with it to do that work. And our work with our clients and our strong relationships with the media continue to position executives as go-to experts, boosting financial support, increasing volunteerism, highlighting human impact, and connecting the public with free resources. And for some of our social entrepreneurship clients, we were able to attract sales leads. So we were still, pounding the pavement, making those media connections happen to them, for them. And we really found ourselves being strategic partners to our clients and media colleagues. They knew that they had somebody in their corner and they could rely on them and that we had their back.
You mentioned about, being nonstop with the media, and I really felt that, March, April, May, the tide shifted. I think that for a long time, people were shifting away from traditional local media, and it has shifted the other direction. I feel like so many people now are leaning back on their local news stations and news outlets to get that tidbit of information that's going to work for them because of all the different COVID guidelines, right? So what's happening in Arizona might not be what's happening in Texas or California. So I feel like the hyper local media definitely got a boon. And so, yeah, I'm glad we have organizations like you who know how to help these brands to position and get good use out of this traditional media source, which really is valuable. Leading on to that, how about your nonprofit? I heard that you guys actually, at some point during COVID, decided to come up with a scholarship type of program that would help groups that needed some assistance.
Yeah. So, we've always had a culture of giving back. One of my earliest jobs was working as a community relations specialist for a local cable company. And I used to joke and I would say, my job is to make people feel good about paying their cable bill, because we would do all these really cool community campaigns. You fast forward 18 years and we've refined our process to be strategic and intentional about the pro bono and the in-kind services we provide our clients and the public at large. And so for our clients, particularly in the philanthropy space, we do offer value add services like media monitoring or presentations to their board. and other incentives as well. So giving back has always been in our culture. This year, over time it adds up, and this year alone, I think we're anticipated to give out between $75,000 and $100,000 in kind services to our clients in the community. And one of those things, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we started what was called the Resilience Project. And we provided media relations expertise to 4 emerging nonprofits at no charge. So we're looking at small grassroots organizations that have a small team, but really dedicated to diverse missions throughout the industry or the region. So we conducted strategy calls with their leadership, and our goal was to help them create a self-actionable media outreach plan so they could generate awareness using their current staff and resources. We worked with organizations like Oncology and Kids, Words Alive. We learned about their challenges and provided that strategic expertise to build their program during the time of crisis. And what we really enjoyed about this process was meeting new people and also learning their stories of human impact. So that was really cool to do. But I think moving forward, we're going to build upon that and adjust the Resilience Project to somehow feature human impact stories of resilience, but through digital media. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I just invite you all to stay tuned to see what we create.
Well, thank you. And I'm so glad that you all are doing that in-kind work. There's so many businesses out there right now that I really think that they just threw their hands up and they're like, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to close my business.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes a boost of confidence from someone else, even just a phone call for it. So I think that's a good segue. We have Simona here. I know you and I met earlier this year before March timeframe. You were actually at one of Public Relations Society of America's events where we were providing pro bono advice to nonprofits. So Simona, as president and CEO of San Diego Oasis, can you share with me a little bit about your organization, what impact it's making?
Absolutely. We have the best mission where we take care of seniors and at-risk children. I say these two are the best generations ever. So very quickly, our mission is for older adults, for our seniors, is to provide lifelong learning so that we keep our learning and our brain continues to be engaged. We offer tremendous programs in healthy aging space. So that would be any kind of exercise, meditation, diet, anything to keep your body strong as we age. And thirdly, we advocate for this new idea of what aging actually means and what today's senior looks like. We really don't even use the word senior other than writing grant proposals or presenting something to funders, because most people who are today's older adults don't wear that badge of honor. I'm a senior citizen. They feel like I am in the best phase of my life. I have wisdom, I have patience, I have meaningful work to do. I can focus on me and what I care about and take care of the community around me. So it's a whole different changing the concept, changing the conversation, which is very interesting and very, very difficult work. But to close, the third mission is we take our seniors, our older adults who are looking for a meaningful way to contribute, and we put them to work with the most at-risk children in literacy space. So we train our older adults who are interested in reading, writing, and working with kids up to 5th grade. And we place them in Title I schools where each teacher in a classroom decides which little learner needs an older adult mentor. And that one child and that one older adult get paired up and spend a full year together, getting to know each other, of course, building confidence, laughing, writing, learning new words, starting there, but with the ultimate goal that this little learner will start reading and writing at grade level by 4th grade, no later than 4th grade. Because we know statistically there's a direct correlation between not reading and writing at grade level by grade 4 and never graduating from high school, not able to go on to further studies, not being able to have a stable job. So in a way, we're providing, it's a win-win-win. We're providing meaningful work literally to change somebody's trajectory of the entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So we take
That's
somebody
pretty amazing.
who already loves to read and write and has time to give. We give them all the training, all the lesson plans, so they come very much prepared. It's a gift to the teacher, who is often, as you know, so overwhelmed in the classroom, and there's just too many kids and too many unique circumstances. So it's a wonderful way to say, you don't need to do anything. This person is gonna come trained, free, background checked with lesson plans. All you need to do is think about which learners need that help.
Well, that's
And then
amazing.
for the kids,
Yeah.
and then for the kids, it's not a punishment. It's like, ooh, I get my own John, and he's here every Tuesday at 9 just for me. And we're going to do Drew Hangman and do, read books and write stuff. So kids benefit, teachers benefit, schools benefit, older adults benefit. It's the most beautiful thing. So to wrap up my long story, what Oasis is all about is solving social isolation and providing meaningful opportunities for engagement for older adults, which is the fastest growing population and the most forgotten and misunderstood population, and also making truly life-changing work for little kids in our local schools. In San Diego, we're currently working with 11 school districts. So literally think about from the border of Mexico to Temecula.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how exciting my work is.
Yeah, I can see why you're
two best generations ever.
right. So that is so inspiring to hear, especially as we know that there are children that are also isolated, in certain situations right now due to COVID and due to things happening. How is your company providing those support to the children during maybe like online learning and things like that?
So everything we knew how to do pre-March 13th went out of the window starting March 13th. Mm-hmm. All the seniors, the older adults who were used to going to their location where Oasis provides programs in Escondido, La Mesa, and then other community places, we locked the doors. That was finished. All the tutors that had their classroom and their child and their thing closed up and finished. We could have just gone out and said, when this is over, we maybe or maybe not will come back. But of course, immediately over one weekend, we got ourselves trained on Zoom, and literally we did not miss a single day of work, which is
great.
Absolutely remarkable when you think about seniors and technology and Zoom. Not easy, nearly impossible. So we train ourselves. Our instructors who teach lifelong learning and the healthy aging are also tend to be older adults. They may still be working, they may be retired. So our members, our older adults are like, oh, most of them said, no, not for me. When this is over, I'll come back. And of course that dragged on and on and on and on. And the comeback seemed to be longer and longer wait time, but also for instructors. So we quickly grabbed our 15 laptops, which was our technology lab, and we asked our instructors, just a few of them, to be brave. We said, the doors are locked. You can come to Oasis. We will run the Zoom. We'll give you the laptop. All you need to do is teach your thing. You already know how to do that. So once we were closed for one more week with those brave instructors, we ran online classes from Oasis. They were teaching in an empty classroom with a laptop and all the staff behind them to make sure, we took care of the details. And then after that week, we completely went virtual and we've never gone back. So we've been virtual since March. So that's what's happening. And typically 6,000 older adults would come in person every week. Today we have about 3,000 to 4,000 participating online. And it is remarkable how, most people transition so successfully to online format. Just yesterday, I was talking to Donna, one of our members, and she said, I'm in Ramona. I would come to you maybe twice a year. And now I am on Zoom with you every single day. And it's such a gift.
That's great.
It is such a gift. So briefly what we did with the kids, of course, there's no school, there's no virtual learning. but the gap is even bigger. So if you think of that kid that for whatever reason needed personal attention,
Mm-hmm.
in a, you know, Title I school where social economic dynamics are already difficult, most of those kids did not have internet connection, laptop, or technology at home, and now they were forced to be home. So unlike most middle class neighborhoods who, you know, mom or dad had device and everybody had internet, they made it work with some difficulty. Most of our kids ended up in a daily drive-by. So for example, mom and kids in the car, no technology, they would come through the school and get their paper packet for the week or the day. So the teacher would be standing there giving out the homework for the week to each kid that is maybe at a different grade level. Oasis very quickly jumped to that line. So you would pick up your homework. Most often you would also pick up food because of course cafeterias were closed and families still needed help in that area. So get your homework, get your food, and get some books from Oasis. And maybe a little note that if the parents are willing and if they make it work, we might find a tutor if we can find an internet connection and device. So our tutoring program, again, remarkably, we've given out 5,000 books so far.
Oh, wow.
We've been, you know, fundraising is difficult except when we said we need books. These kids do not have books. They can't get them. Every library is closed. Learning is sort of shut down. We need books. Maybe we can write notes back and forth. Maybe we can reconnect through that drive-by line. So remarkably, we've raised money. We've purchased pallets of books, not boxes, pallets of books. Sponsors like Barnes & Noble donated extra books, donated gift cards. And we've been literally in the heat of the summer, standing in those drive-bys, handing out books that are appropriate for each child in each grade level to make sure we do what we can to keep them going. Because learning is difficult. We're all having a little dip in efficiency and motivation and everything. But if you don't have all those extra things that most families do, you have a bigger hurdle to overcome. So working with seniors, remarkable. 4,000 seniors are engaged. And overnight, we became an international organization, which sort of completely was out of our mission and scope and things we used to think about. We were a San Diego organization working in San Diego County, caring for San Diego older adults. Right now, we have people chiming in from Canada and Mexico and New Jersey and Virginia and St. Louis, because friends told friends, like, oh, you can come to my favorite class and you can be part of my poetry discussion. And you can
that's
learn
wonderful.
from my, you know.
Yeah.
So in a way, with no additional marketing or mailing or that, we've gained members everywhere through word of mouth because this opened it up. And we are positioned this year with Scatena Daniels' help and many, many others to host our largest event in the history of our organization. And we're almost 40 years old.
Wow.
So
bravo. That just makes me feel awesome knowing that you guys are pushing in that direction. And just your mention about the poem being shared, you know, let's say that two people knew each other and they live in different states, and instead of them having to have some less engaged way of sharing, now they have kind of this connection. So I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So with that in mind, I have you two here today because I think you brought up a couple of times that you've worked together. Simone, can you share any highlights about the support you've received from Scatena Daniels, and how is it helping your organization?
So, you know, as a small nonprofit, it's been a journey, I think, together with Scatena Daniels. When I started 8 years ago, we knew we needed some extra boost in marketing and PR. So because the resources were so tight, we would bring somebody to do a little PR around something, some event or some happening or some person. And that would be it, a couple times a year. I've always had that goal to, not do these little spurts, but really have a longer term strategy. But I knew about Scatena Daniels. I knew Denise personally for a long time. We just couldn't make the money work for a very, very long time. We kept talking, we kept checking in. Their work is stellar. We wanted to work with them, but we just could not afford them. And, good for them. They are the best, and they charge what they charge, and they do amazing work. So about a year ago, we finally said, this is the time. We've done all these other things to get to this moment, and now we have to find resources to take that next thing. So we started working together. And of course, if you think August 2019, we were, 9 months in or so, and then COVID hit. And everything we counted on, the money just evaporated. So what we had to do is go to every single partner, vendor, sponsor in every way, including everybody who worked with marketing, our printer, our PR firm, and say, we don't want to completely say goodbye. Can you work with us? Is there something we can do together where we just don't have the money? Unless all of you help us, we just can't continue at the level because we just don't have the money. And I have to say, 99% of every partner and vendor said, yes, I'll work with you. And, only one firm said, no, that is the price we agreed on. And so we made the final payment, and we may or may not work with that firm again. But everybody else, literally the water cooler, the phone company, the rental for the copier scanner, in every area of life, we went and asked for help, and every single one did help in the best way they could. Awesome. So I think there's a good feeling about the community of, you focus on your employees, you focus on your members, and then of course it's the partners around you that make you better, make you stronger, help you grow, help you be visible in the PR sense.
Well, I definitely see that there's a two-way need there. So those entities need you and many others to maintain their business, and then you're coming in and having that raw, transparent, kind of honest conversation about where we're at. So helping you now when you're in a time of need and keeping you afloat will mean that they'll eventually get you back to a point where you can work together again and have that revenue coming in on both sides. So I think that's a big kind of component of what we really put this network together for. It's a network because we're all connected. There really is no Scatena Daniels by itself, or San Diego Oasis by itself. We have an interdependency on each other in some way. And it's beautiful to see how Scatena Daniels and how these other organizations have been able to work with you. And I've heard other stories, just amazing stories that people, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember the people that had that level of generosity for them during this time. So as we kind of lead near to the end of our conversation here today, I wanted to lean back on Denise and ask you a little bit about kind of this, what we see as this threatening of the sustainability of businesses. And if there's anything you could offer, Denise, from your company and your long experience, what advice would you offer to keep their brands top of mind right now?
Sure. This is a great question, and I was thinking about my answer, and I think my advice are three things. You listen, you adapt, and then you share it out. So you listen to your customers, your clients, your students, the community at large, whoever your constituents are, what do they need? Okay. And then adapt that delivery system or model to keep your customers engaged and provide opportunities for authentic inclusion. As we've been talking about, it's about our network. It's about a community. It's just a different way that we are currently being forced to interact. We can't have happy hours, in person necessarily, but we could do it over Zoom. We can't go down to Oasis in Grossmont Center to go take my tech class, but now I'm doing it over Zoom. So whatever ways that you can find to stay in touch and engage in an authentic way for inclusion, think about those things. And like I said, just like what San Diego Oasis has done and will continue to do, I feel that with all of my clients, all the organizations I'm involved in, San Diego Press Club, some others, and we're all excited about this virtual space right now, because we are staying in touch with people that weren't able to come downtown for an event at 5 o'clock, and so it's really opened our eyes to see what's possible, and embrace that for the time being. And then as we kind of get out of wherever we're at now, I do think there's going to be some more virtual, there's going to be that hybrid approach as well. And then the last point was share. So share it out, share the new things that you're doing. Identify your communications channels, whether it's on social, in a video, on your website, email or advertising, or that earned media outreach, with getting on TV or getting a news article printed. Everyone has a story to share. And it may serve as an inspiration to others who would seek you out for your services, for assistance, or just to connect, because they heard about you and they can relate, And while I know, we really all want to go back to normal, I don't think we're going to be exactly how it was. Like I shared with you briefly, is that I think there's going to be a component for virtual engagement, and that's something that we're going to need to embrace, because everybody's journey is different. So
thank you so much, Denise. Thank you both for joining me today. Is there anything else that either of you would like to share before we finish up? Anything at all?
I would say, as a leader of any nonprofit or for-profit organization, to me, COVID has amplified the importance of culture. To me, we were so prepared culturally for something like COVID internally. We have a team that we recruit people who are good, solid people, who don't have a big ego, who are such phenomenal generalists, and who will not be afraid to quickly shift and shift and shift and shift. So when COVID hit, I did not have a big drama when I said, we're training on Sunday and we're launching on Monday. Everybody showed up, everybody learned something, everybody of course had butterflies in the stomach. And same thing, I would say, working with Denise and her team, when we signed that first contract a year and a half ago, we told the staff, look, this is going to be always last minute. It's always going to be on a Sunday afternoon. Something's going to come up and we're going to need to jump and do it. And if we don't jump and we do it, that opportunity will go away. So just know there will never be a long, great plan. It's going to be like, I need it now. I need it right now. You need to get on the phone and make it happen. So I think what I heard from Arika and Denise while working, they were like, whoa, you guys are fast. I said, yes. We signed this contract and we want to get the very best out of it. We want to be fast, we want to be quick, and you're the experts. So if you say jump, Simona, get on your makeup while you drive. I jump and I don't drive and do makeup, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
I have my suit hanging in the office. I'm always ready. If they say that's what you need to do, we do it. So to me, it comes to culture, to prepare for the next thing too. And seniors are that most at-risk population. So, while for others it could be like, oh, we're almost there. For us, it feels like this is never going to be over. It's just longer and longer and longer. So the hardest part for me is, I wish we had millions of dollars and gave everyone a tablet, which we are doing for some very low income seniors right now. But the mental health and physical health is definitely deteriorating for those that are living alone, tend to be older and don't have a good network around them digitally or otherwise. So there's work to be done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, jumping into what Simona was saying, having a client that will be willing to trust us, right? And know that when we call and we say, hey, this is coming, and oh, by the way, it's in 30 minutes or it's tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. that, and they've already told us and have shown us that they're ready to jump and participate, gives us more confidence when we're out there pitching for them. And so it's that trust relationship that right out of the gate, you have to have some level of trust, but then over time, you know, actions speak louder than words. And that's what's great about Oasis, is that we know we can pitch and they will be there no matter what time. We're going to figure this out. We're going to find a Spanish language spokesperson if we need to. Let's get this done. And through this COVID time, booking these interviews and doing them through Zoom has actually really helped us and helped our nonprofit clients, because they can still do their mission-centered work and do these media interviews in a socially distant way. So that's been a takeaway for me. And I think, you know, just from last words, you know, small businesses and nonprofits make up a large part of our economy. You know, I mean, you think of the big businesses, right? But these small businesses and these nonprofits are a major economic driver here, and we're doing amazing things. So I know it can be a bit scary out there right now for us, but it's important to stay the course, and if needed, seek help from organizations like SCORE, Social Venture Partners, the SBA, and nonprofit management solutions, just to have sounding boards. You know, take a class, call for business counseling help. They're there. They have volunteers that want to help us. And again, it's important to stay connected, because being a business owner can seem really lonely at times. I joke, in the before times it was lonely. It can be even lonelier now. But the power of connection and networks are really going to be more major drivers for us in facing down these challenges that have been thrown our way. And I try to keep a positive outlook as much as I can. I got to be positive for our clients, positive for our employees, positive for my family, but also realistic too. And I think, you know, living by the mantra of, you know, the only constant in life is change, has helped me kind of really try to weather this storm as easy, you know, as smoothly as I can. So.
Well, thank you, ladies. That was wonderful. And I do want to say to those that are listening today that if you want to find more information about either of these organizations, it's on our website. That's www.sandiego.businesscrisissupport.org. There are feature bios for each of Denise and Simona on our site, and then you can kind of look them up from there. We also on the site have a list of current consultants and coaches that are offering support in different areas, from lawyers to those working in PR communication, those nonprofit management, and finance, things like that. So we have it there, look at it. And then we also still have a full list of California, national, and hyperlocal San Diego emergency funding support types of vehicles that are out there. Some of them have been expended, but you should go back and take a look. Obviously those lists exist other places, but we've tried to compile it and keep it up to date. Know that there are still groups out there that are replenishing their grants and their funds. So you can go out there and look for those to help weather the storm until we can get people back into your shops, into your offices and things like that. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day, and let's keep San Diego strong. Take care.
Thank
you.
Stacey.
All right. Bye-bye.